Okay, so now we will discuss leasing. Leasing is a financing decision. What do you mean by a financing decision? A financing decision means an organization having raised capital, it can either by itself invest in fixed assets, required for the project, where it is capital budgeting, or it can hire the asset for utilization in the project. Hire the asset for using it for a project. When you are hiring the asset, you are just paying the rental for the asset. You don't own the asset, right? So that hiring the asset is what you call as leasing the asset. Okay. So under leasing, what is going to happen? Under leasing, a relationship is established between the lessor and the lessee. A relationship is established between the lessor and the lessee. Lessor is the owner of the asset and lessee is the person who is going to use the asset. And lessee is the person who uses the asset. Okay. So for certain conditions, a relationship is established between lessor and lessee for certain conditions for using the asset, for certain conditions for using the asset for lease rental. Okay. So in this chapter, what will we be studying? We will be studying whether the asset must be purchased or leased out. Okay. So as I already told you, it is a financing decision. So when it comes to financing decision, the questions can be of two ways. One is either purchase or lease the asset. It will be a decision between purchase or leasing the asset. Or one more will be from the point of view of lessor. One more will be from the point of lessor on the break-even lease rental. How much is the minimum lease rental a lessor should charge to recover the cost of the asset? So sums will be of two types. One is the asset is not purchased yet. You are in the brim of the decision where you want to decide whether you have to purchase the asset or lease the asset. Whichever is an economical choice, you will make that decision. Or alternatively, from the point of view of a lessor, if somebody is coming to you and requesting the lease of an asset, what is the minimum lease rental you will quote? That is computation of break-even lease rental. So what happens in case of a lease or a purchase? So when I am going to purchase the asset by borrowing money, what and all will be my outflow? The principal and the interest on loan will be my outflow. Correct? So when I'm going to purchase the asset by borrowing money, principal and interest will be my outflow. But for this interest, I can claim a tax saving on interest every year. When you are the owner of the asset, you can claim tax saving on depreciation. You can claim depreciation and then claim tax saving on it. So you can claim tax saving on depreciation. It will reduce your cost. Then you will have the benefit of salvage value. When you are the owner of the asset. Everything in present value terms, because you have to decide before you purchase or lease on which option to choose. So everything is evaluated in present value terms. So the principal and interest is your outflow when you are purchasing the asset. When you are purchasing the asset by borrowing money. So for that interest, you will have tax saving. Having the ownership of the asset, you can claim tax saving on depreciation. Having the ownership of asset, you can claim salvage. Just a minute. Just a minute. Sorry, I had a call from SIRC. So principal plus interest minus tax saving on interest minus tax saving on depreciation minus salvage. All this depreciation and salvage value are advantages if you are owning the asset. Okay, this will give you your net outflow on purchase. Net outflow on purchase. But alternatively, if you decide to lease the asset, your only outflow will be lease rental. Your only outflow will be lease rental. For this lease rental, anyway, you can claim tax saving on lease rental. So you will have your net outflow on lease. Compare the net outflow on purchase with net outflow on lease. Whichever is an economical option, you will decide. Suppose if they say purchase, net outflow on purchase is for 7 years. Net outflow on lease is for 5 years. This is a case of life disparity, which I told you under asset life cycle costing. So when there is a life disparity, what should you do? You have to calculate EAC. How do you calculate EAC? What is EAC? EAC is equivalent annual cost. So for this equivalent annual cost, how do you compute? It is sum of present value of cash outflows divided by the present value annuity factor at the respective cost of capital for the life. So bring it down to equated terms of 1 year and then decide when there is a life disparity between the purchase of asset and the lease of the asset. Okay, this is one way of solving the sum where it is comparison of the purchase of an asset or lease of an asset. On the other hand, from the point of view of lessor, if they are asking you what is the minimum lease rental to be quoted, lease rental you will keep as X. That X you will equate it to your cost of purchase and find the value of X in case of lease rental.